is Brooke. Hello. Do I need glasses or is this just not focusing? Hey girl. Hey everyone, how are you? I hope you're all well. This is the long-awaited all-in Q&A that I have got literally hundreds and hundreds of questions on. So I had to narrow it down to a lot. So I've written down in my pad the most frequently asked questions. And obviously what I want you to remember in this video, that everything I talk about, the experience is going to be different for everybody. Whether that's very different or only slightly different, no experience is going to be the same for anyone. So always bear that in mind, but this is just what I've got from it. And I know a lot of you are intrigued, and the reason I want to make this video is because these are the videos that I watched that gave me the motivation and inspired me to go all in. And I loved watching videos like what I eat in a day all in to make me feel less alone, because when you watch so many what I eat in a days, you see how restrictive so many people's diets can be. Then you start to compare your diet and feel like you need to restrict more because of that person, etc, etc. But I'm going to try and be really careful on how I word things in this, because I understand how triggering the slightest thing could be, even if it's not meant to be said in that way. If it's said with good intentions, it still can come across wrong, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. It might sound stupid, but if you're somebody that gets really triggered even talking about the topic of food or restriction or numbers or habits or recovery or anything like that, please just don't watch this video and come back to this video when you feel a little bit more ready to talk about things like this. This video will still be here, I'll still be waiting for you, but maybe just right now isn't your time, and that's completely okay. You just have to wait for when the time is right for you, if that makes sense. I just want to remind you that this is such a sensitive topic, and nobody should ever feel guilty for what they eat, how they eat, when they eat, what they look like. And remember that you're so much more than just your body. Your body needs to be fueled, okay? Like, it needs food. That is what food is for. If you didn't need it, it wouldn't be a thing. There's no such thing as good and bad foods, right? Everything is healthy. You need to remember that, like, if you only ate vegetables for the rest of your life, that would be deemed as unhealthy. Same as if you only ate ice cream for the rest of your life, that would be unhealthy. You have to eat ice cream and vegetables to be healthy. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to eat everything. You can't just focus on one food group or one source of, you know what I mean, whatever. Be healthy. Health doesn't just mean eating fruit and veg. Health means having a balanced diet. So just remember that, okay? You need to eat your sugars, you need to eat chocolate, you need to eat all the stuff that you enjoy, because else you are restricting, and that's going to make you have so much more hunger without even realizing. Do you know what I mean? It's just going to happen naturally. Anyway, also I am going to be mentioning numbers and photos in this, not like really bad photos or anything like that that's going to be too triggering. But obviously if you've noticed you do get triggered by things like that, maybe just skip past them photos or don't watch this video. And I'm not going to be saying how much I weigh, but I'm going to be saying how much I've gained in this process and how long it's taken me and numbers like that. So bear that in mind before watching the rest of the video. Kind of out of breath, I don't know, I think I'm just a bit nervous to film this. Everything written down. I've just written some bullet points, so if I'm looking down, that's why. But the first question I'm going to be answering is, someone said that they want to go all in but they don't know how to start, and that's completely normal. I think that it's really good that you've come to the point in your journey where you've realized that actually it is time to recover, like you're ready to recover. But it's just that initial like doing it, like it's like you want to do it but you need that like courage and you need that motivation to do it. Does that make sense? So all I would suggest is just don't put it off. I would prepare yourself, and what I mean by that is know why you're doing it, because if you don't know why you're recovering or why you're going all in, you're not going to stick to it. And that's just me being honest, and it's the harsh truth. If you just think, right, I need to recover, so I'm gonna go all in, you're gonna eat for one day loads of food, or what you deem as loads of food, and at the end of the day you're gonna be like, oh my god, why did I do that? That was so stupid of me, I shouldn't have done that. I'm fat, I'm disgusting, I don't deserve it, blah blah blah. But if maybe you could write down why you're going all in, write down the benefits. And to me that was getting my life back, being more motivated, enjoying the things that I used to enjoy, getting your period back, not being cold all the time, you know, just finding joy in life again, and not being consumed with thoughts of food and being skinny all the time. Like, and can I also just say that you don't need to be skinny to have an eating disorder, like, just putting that out there, so don't think that your feelings aren't valid. You can still go all in even if you're at a healthy weight, but we'll get to that in a bit. So yeah, the first thing I'd say is know why you're doing it. Once you know why you're doing it, when you know why you're doing it, don't put it off, just go for it, because you're not just going to randomly wake up one day and think, oh, today I feel like eating loads of food for the rest of my life. It's just not going to happen. If you're in this mindset for such a long time of restriction, you're not just randomly going to wake up and feel like doing that. You need to just go for it and commit. I think what you need to know before doing it is that it will be scary and it's going to be very uncomfortable. That's the best word I would use to describe it, that it is uncomfortable. Especially for the first like 3 weeks, it's very uncomfortable because it's so out of the ordinary. You're not used to just indulging in all these foods that your body tells you need and want. So yeah, it's going to be scary, but what you need to remember, and this is what I always remind myself, when you get that feeling when you fancy something or you're eating something of guilt, any anxious feeling, just remember that the more things you face and overcome, the less you'll have to deal with in the future. The more you fight and like deal with, the closer to recovery you are. If you have this feeling and you give into the feeling that your ED is telling you to give into, you're just going to have to face that feeling again. It's going to be harder the time after because you've given into it before. So just remember that if you get this feeling, you're going to have to fight hard, but if you give into it, you're going to have to fight harder next time. Imagine having to feel that again. What I always think is I'd rather go forward consistently than go forward and back and forward and back, because it's not going to get you anywhere. You're staying in the same position. You just need to fight it, and eventually you'll get to the point that you need to be. Recovery isn't linear and it's not going to be easy. So remember that because you look a certain way at this point doesn't mean you're going to look like that at the end, or you feel like this right now but you're not going to feel like that at the end. It's all part of recovery, and in the end it will be worth it. Just keep that in mind. Okay, now this kind of ties into the same kind of answer to this question, but I just think I'll mention it. Like, someone asked me if I've given up, and the answer is honestly no, I haven't. There has been many times that I've thought like, you literally don't need that, like you've eaten so much, or you've eaten more than yesterday, so you don't need to have that. And I think, what am I doing? That is not the point of this. If you want it on that day, you have it, because if you don't, you're restricting, you're literally giving in to your eating disorder thoughts. So don't do that. Listen to everything your body tells you. And if you're thinking about food but you're physically full and sick, you still want food, so go and have that food. And you eat the food and you keep eating and you still keep thinking about food, just keep eating until eventually you will stop thinking about it. You can't physically eat all day non-stop. Your body will make you stop at some point, and you just have to listen to that and believe it. Think of the end result and it will all be worth it, and think about how much happier your body's going to feel for it. So people have asked me if I'm at my set weight yet, and no, I'm not on my set weight. I've been all in since the 9th of January and today is the 1st of March, so it's about a month, and it's about 1 month and 3 weeks, I think, something around that. So no, I'm not on my set weight, but I have gained 3.5 stone in a month and a half. No, a month and 3 weeks pretty much, which I know is absolutely terrifying. Like literally terrifying. Sorry, this is just really difficult. But although my weight might not be set, it is increasing at a much slower rate. And no, I don't weigh myself like every day. I used to weigh myself 40 times a day, probably, like around that. Now I weigh myself, well, I don't weigh myself, I weigh myself at cans once a week, but now we're spacing out my appointments to like every few weeks, so now it won't even be every week. So that's a huge change just in that, like the obsessive taking off your clothes and going to weigh yourself after everything you eat. And how much you weigh in the morning or any time of the day shouldn't determine the rest of your day. It shouldn't be like, well, now you're going to exercise or walk this many steps or eat this or not eat this, eat at this time because of this. Like, no, don't weigh yourself. Your weight fluctuates. It's gonna be different every single day. And I know you might think, yeah, but only by like 1 pound or 2 pounds. But everybody knows that you obsess over them 1 or 2 pounds. Like, just remember that the scales, a number does not define you. You are completely separate to a number. You are a person, not a number on a scale. Okay, my camera just stopped recording, but don't let that number determine the rest of your life and your feelings. Like, ignore it. Throw out your scales, literally throw out your scales. My parents, well, I've asked my parents to hide mine, so they're somewhere in the room. Like, I don't use them. You need to be honest with yourself and be honest with everybody around you, because if you're only honest with yourself, it can be so difficult to give into it and nobody can say anything about it because only you know about it, if that makes sense. Another question is, where does the weight go? So obviously, absolutely everybody is different, but in my case, initially my weight went to my tummy to begin with, and now it has distributed. I know that people say it can take like 3 months or so for weight to distribute, but I think that that's because instead of me going on a weight gain meal plan, I just went all in. So if I was in a weight gain meal plan, I'd be eating like 3 times less than what I was eating in all in, and still am. So those who would be on a weight gain meal plan, I'm guessing the weight would distribute later on in recovery, because it would be like gaining weight at a slower rate, whereas I've obviously gained weight much quicker because I just went all in and just listened to absolutely every food my brain would think of. So mine has distributed, and it probably distributed after like a month. So mine initially went all to my tummy, and now it's gone everywhere, literally everywhere. My bum, my boobs, I literally never had a bum. Well, I did have a bum before I lost loads of weight. I didn't have absolutely any bum when I was at my lowest weight. I didn't have any boobs. You see all my collarbones, on my shoulders, you see my rib cage. My fingers are bigger, I don't fit in my rings. My wrists are bigger, I don't fit in my bracelets. I've got it all in my face, like in my cheeks, my feet. My shoes are a bit tight now, you know, everywhere. But mainly my tummy. My tummy just holds weight the most, which, you know. Oh, and my thighs, of course. My thighs are much bigger now. It's gonna happen. You can't just gain weight and not see it. It's gonna happen, isn't it? Like, you just have to accept it. Also, I forgot to mention that in the last question when I said that my weight has been increasing at a much slower rate now. I just want to put that into perspective. A lot of people are different, but in the first 3 days of me going all in, I gained 10 pounds, which obviously is a lot to gain in 3 days, probably. But if you gain more than that, that's completely normal, completely okay. But if you gain less than that, that's fine. Everybody's body's different. And now I'm gaining about half a stone in 2 weeks. So I'm gaining 3 pounds less than what I would in 3 days in 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So think about it like that. My metabolism is definitely speeding up. But that just shows how much I needed that food. Do you know what I mean? Like, my body wouldn't hold on to it that much if it didn't need it. So okay, another question is how to deal with guilt when eating more than others. Okay, so this is what I try and remember that may help you, that you need to remember that you're in a different situation to them. Like, they haven't starved themselves for months, years, weeks, however long you've been starving yourself for, they haven't been doing that. So if they're eating a smaller portion than you, well, that's because you've got all that time of restriction to make up for. Your body literally needs to make up for all this time you've been restricting in a short period of time. So you just need to indulge and enjoy it, because if you don't, you're still restricting. And you just need to remember that they're in a completely different situation to you, and they're a completely different person, completely different life, and they don't have the same struggles and problems as you. You deal with food and life how you need to deal with it, and how to get yourself better. And to get yourself better, you need to eat this food. Just remember that, okay? Okay, somebody else has asked, do good things outweigh the bad things in recovery? All I can say is 100 million trillion billion whatever percent, like 100%. The only thing that you would deem as bad in recovery is weight gain. Now, that would be your eating disorder talking when you refer to weight gain as bad, because actually weight gain isn't bad. Weight gain doesn't equal bad. Weight gain equals like having energy, having freedom, not constantly being consumed by these thoughts of food and your body and everything like that 24/7, like all these horrible thoughts all the time. You're free from them. You're not consumed with it. You can think about other things and think about things you enjoy. You're not freezing cold anymore. You get a healthy heart rate, healthy blood pressure, all your you know what's it called, everything in your body, like health, like physically and mentally, everything gets better, everything. And I can assure you that food is literally fuel and your body needs it. Like, I hated hated being cold all the time. Even if I was in a hot boiling room, I was freezing. I didn't want to go to the supermarket because I was freezing. I didn't want to get out of the car. I didn't want to leave my room because I was frozen. Literally, I felt like I was in Antarctica all the time. Like, you start to enjoy the things that you did before you had to go through this horrible time in your life. You remember things that you didn't even think about while you were going through this horrible time because you like enjoyed the things you did before. And I don't want you to think that food is only fuel, because yeah, you need food for all of these amazing things like enjoyment of life and motivation and wanting to do things again and getting excited for things. But not only that, food is joy. Food is there for enjoyment. Like, you're meant to enjoy food, you're meant to love it, like indulge in it. Food is yummy. You don't have to just be like, okay, I've got to eat this for energy. Like, you can eat it because you love it, you can eat it because you want it. That is what food is for. Like, food is so much more than just the things that come out of it. It's how you feel when you have it, you know. So somebody's asked what is my end goal, or like the end goal of All In, and typically is to be in a healthy set weight range. So I'm just going to explain this a little bit. Okay, so this is me underweight, right? And then say this is healthy weight, but this is also healthy weight. And then you've got like overweight, right? This is all a healthy weight. I'm not going to say how much that healthy weight is, but you can be within this range and still be healthy. It doesn't mean you have to be here to be a healthy weight. You can be here and still be healthy. So what I'm trying to say is that you're going to go out for meals and you're going to go on holiday and eat more food than you might do at other times in your life, or sometimes your body's going to hold on to extra weight, or when you're at that time of the month you're going to maybe put on a few pounds. You're within this range, but it's all still healthy, and that's your set weight. Like, that's just what I want. I don't want to be overweight, I don't want to be underweight, I just want to be healthy, I just want to be happy, and like, I don't want to obsess that I stay the same or I'm losing weight or anything like that. I just want to fluctuate in the healthy range, you know what I mean? And also, what I think you need to remember is that when you're going all in, obviously, like I said, when I was eating to begin with it all in, I gained so much more weight than what I am now, like at a different rate. I think what you need to remember is that you kind of need to go up to come back down. You're not going to keep eating this, what you think is a humongous amount of food. You're not going to do that. When your body has been satisfied with all its like needs and cravings, it's not going to keep needing to eat thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of calories a day. You're not going to have to do that because your body doesn't need it anymore. Your body will be satisfied. That's not to say that if you want food you shouldn't have it, but I'm saying that it's not going to want so much of that food. Do you know what I mean? So naturally, not on purpose, but naturally your body will start to come back down again. Not to this underweight, but within the healthy range it will start to lower. Instead of being right at the top, like heavier end of the healthy weight, it will naturally start to come down to, like, I don't know, everybody's different, but it will naturally start to come down to here or here or here. It's not going to be right at the top this whole time. It will start to decrease naturally because your body just won't need as much food, so you won't be eating as much. Not for any reason to do with an eating disorder though, just because your body is functioning and working properly, that's just how it's going to react. Remember that whatever your top weight is, you're not going to stay there forever. Like, it will come down a bit, so don't, you know, stress out about that too much. How do you resist urge to resist ED behaviours? So I have actually mentioned this point before, but I've written it down again. So I've written down that the more you go back, the more things you'll have to face in the future, and the more things you'll have to fight again. So if you don't face it now and you give in to them behaviours, you're going to have to do it all over again. Who wants to do that all over again? Who wants to have this feeling of guilt and feeling worthless again? Like, just face it. And I know that's so much easier said than done, but the more you do it, the more satisfied you're going to be with yourself that you're doing it. And it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be hard, but why would you want to face that again? Because you're not going to have this eating disorder forever. You're not. So you're going to have to recover at some point. You are going to get it over and done with. Have a free life, be happy, like, get it over and done with. Think about the end result. It will be so worth it. Okay, so now people have asked what are the physical changes that I've had, and number one is my period. Fertile check. So I didn't have my period for probably about, I don't know specifically how long, but I'd say about 1 year and 8 months, probably coming up to like the 2 year, but I'd say it's over 1.5 years, so probably about 1 year and 8-9 months. I got it a month into going all in. because I was eating so much that my body had enough energy and fuel to like do the functions that everyone should be able to do. When you're restricting so much, your body doesn't have the energy to function as it should. So things that it stops is like losing your period. So when your body has enough fuel and energy to perform functions like that, you get your period back again, which is great because I was really scared. What if I was going to be infertile for the rest of my life? Like, you never know, you can get severe lifetime problems from eating disorders, and I was really lucky to get it back again. So that's one change. Another change is being sweaty like all the time. I wouldn't say I'm as sweaty now. Like, it's really grim because I would never be sweaty. I was always freezing, as I just said. I wouldn't say I'm as sweaty now as I used to be like a month ago. But oh my goodness, was it bad. Wow, like I'm still a bit clammy now, but I was sweaty. In the night, I would be dripping wet with sweat, and I would literally have to come up to my window in the middle of the night and like open it and stick my head out of the window because it's like awful. Like, you'd be in a freezing cold room and you'd be sweating. Like, I know it's grim and it's kind of off-putting, but like, don't let that put you off. Like, it's just one of them things that comes with it. Like, your body's like, whoa, what the hell's going on? And it's just got loads of like things going on in its body that it's just not used to. Like, it's just coming all out somehow, and I guess that's with sweat. So it does die down. Like, I'm fine now. I'm at a normal temperature right now. Like, I'm just a bit clammy. Like, even if you're cold, sometimes you can just be a bit sweaty, but I know it's not the nicest of things, but it will get better. Also, I don't get it much now, but at the beginning I did kind of, I don't know if it's heart palpitations, but I kind of got like a racing heart quite a lot. So like, naturally my heart rate and my blood pressure have increased like a lot, which is good because I was under what I should be in both of them before. They've both increased, but sometimes I'd feel my heart like actually kind of pounding my chest, and it would be going really quick. So I don't know really what that is, but it doesn't really do that anymore. I think again it was just that it just wasn't used to all this food, so it was just kind of like going crazy. But I can't really think. Oh yeah, and something else, I know this isn't a very nice one, but I've noticed that I have more spots on my head now. Before I started restricting, I used to have really bad skin on my head. Like, I just didn't have very good skin in terms like I'd have spots and stuff. And then when I started to restrict, I got really good skin. And I don't want this to be like a negative thing of recovery, because I look at it in a way that actually, like, my body's functioning right again. Oh god, I'm really sorry. This is really embarrassing. Oh no, I'm ruining my makeup. No. Like, I know, like, you'll probably think this is really weird. Why am I crying about, like, I'm actually crying happy tears about having spots. Like, what the hell? Like, obviously I don't like the look of spots, but it's just that my body's like, hormones working, like, do you know what I mean? Like, everything's happening as a normal teenager's body should. Like, it's just working again. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? I need a tissue. Oh my god. Right, I'm gonna go get a tissue, then I'm gonna come back. Oh god. Okay, I just had to go and get a tissue, and I like redid my makeup a bit because I had like lines down my face. But anyway, just remember that. Okay, so the next question that I've got is, do you ever get scared that you'll get binge eating disorder, or that you're binging at any point? And no, because in recovery and going all in, you are not binging. You're not binging. I think if you research the different, you'd find out properly. And obviously I can't tell you exactly what binge eating disorder is because I've never experienced it myself, but I know that it's kind of like you're not fully present in the moment when you're binging. Like you physically can't stop yourself. And the difference in anorexia recovery is that you're fueling your body, and your body knows what's happening. Your body knows that you need the food. Your body knows you need to keep eating all this food, and you're doing it consciously. You know what's going on, and your body will tell you to stop eventually. It will. So that's the difference. That's why you're not binging. So just because you're eating a lot of food does not equal binging. There's a difference. So don't think you're going to all of a sudden randomly get a binge eating disorder. Because I remember when I first would eat a lot of food, I'd think, oh my god, I'm literally binging. But then I researched it, and it's not binging. So make sure, maybe you could do a bit of research on that, and that will help reassure yourself that you're not binging, you're just fueling your body in the way that it needs. So how do you deal with weight gain? Weight gain is obviously the most difficult part of it all, obviously, but the way I deal with it is wearing baggy clothes and not jeans. Just do not wear jeans. Like, oh my god, god, if I wore jeans I would not feel good. I just wear stretchy leggings and hoodies, jumpers, massive tops. I mainly just wear my dad's t-shirts. Like, I'm way too big for everything that I own. I'm not wearing crop top, don't wear anything that I used to love. I don't really, not really interested in like fashion. Like, I love fashion, I love clothes, but I don't feel good in it, and I don't want to force myself to try and feel good in it, because if I buy loads of new clothes, loads of crop tops, loads of clothes that I would used to wear and feel amazing and love it, I know that if I put it on now I wouldn't, and I don't want to force myself, oh, you used to love clothes like this, like just wear it, because I know I'm not going to feel good in it. And I feel most confident in baggy clothes at the minute, and I don't really know what I'm going to do about that, but I guess I'll just go with the flow until I start feeling more confident, I guess. But at the minute I just don't. So the way I'm dealing with it is just wearing oversized clothes, and luckily I can at the minute because it's cold, and this is just something that I've think is like really good, to be honest. And obviously we're in a global pandemic and we're in lockdown, which is not good, but at the same time I think that if it was summer and I was going out all the time with my friends, having to wear like shorts and crop tops, and I don't know, I just think it would be a lot more harder time to do this. So I think that now is actually a really good, well, the most good as it can get time for me to do this, because I've got my own time, my own space, not seeing anybody, I can deal with it on my own, haven't got other people's opinions. So I just think that's helping as well, because I haven't got loads of other people's opinions or judgment. Obviously there's social media, but everybody's really supportive, so thank you so much. But that's how I deal with it, and you guys help so much. Like, the amount of support I get from you guys is unbelievable, and it makes me so incredibly happy to know that I'm helping you and you are helping me. Like, me helping you, oh god, flicking myself in the face, me helping you helps me. Like, it motivates me so much, and I love it. And I guess that's how I deal with it as well, because I know I'm not alone. All these messages and DMs I get makes me feel so at ease, because I know I'm not alone. Thousands and thousands of us, like so many people going through the same thing, that I know I can do it because you guys can do it too. Like, we're all in this together. It's not just me and against the world, it's all of us. Do you know what I mean? It's all of us against eating disorders. So it makes me feel a lot more like stronger and motivated. Someone said, I feel like I can't stop eating. How do you know when to stop? To me, literally, even if you feel genuinely sick, full, don't let that be an excuse to stop eating. If you're still thinking about food, you want food. I can sit here with a huge food baby feeling like, oh my god, I feel really full right now, like I really shouldn't eat any more food, but I'm thinking about food. I'm thinking, wow, I'd really like that brownie right now, wow, I'd really want 10 Kinders right now, I'd really like a tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream right now. So go and eat that ice cream, that brownie, that Kinder. Like, go and eat it, because you're thinking about it. And when you've eaten that, your body isn't going to be thinking about this food because you've satisfied it. Eat until you physically don't want anything else. And don't mistake thinking about food as not hunger. Thinking about food is hunger. Just because it's not in your tummy isn't rumbling and you're full, doesn't mean you're not mentally hungry. Your body knows what's going on, so your brain is telling you it needs food, so listen to it. So how to know when you stop eating? Until you're not thinking about food. If you're thinking about food, you need food. If you're not thinking about it, you're probably all right. So that's how to know when to stop, until you just stop thinking about it. Eat if full but thinking about food. Somebody's asked. Yes, I've just covered that, so I just literally put yes because I kind of just explained that then, but I just thought that was an easy way to put it. God, my back is in agony. I walked half a marathon the other day with my friend, and literally I've got like 6 blisters and my back is in agony. I don't know why my back hurts so bad. I want some Kinder right now. Somebody asked me, was I scared to go all in? I was so scared. Before I went all in, I claimed I was in recovery, but I wasn't in real recovery. Eating disorder's way of being in recovery. I was still restricting. I set myself to a certain amount of calories a day. I listened to my ED behaviours. It's not recovery. I was maintaining weight. I wasn't happy. My mental health was at its worst. I was not okay. And I've got my life back now, and something that's really big, I'm talking to so many people. Before, my phone would have so many messages from people, and I would not have any interest in replying. Even my best friend that I love like a sister, I wanted to talk to her so bad. I wanted to talk to everybody so bad. I wanted to feel like a normal teenager and socialise, but I wouldn't, because I felt like I didn't even have that much energy to send a message or think about what to reply or even read the message. I didn't even have enough energy to do that. Like, it felt like it would have been a task to open a message, read it, think of a message to reply and send it. Like, it would have drained me to do that. And it's tiny things like that that you don't realise, like getting up out of bed, stand up from my bed. I'd feel like I'd have to sit down from standing up. It was awful. If you're scared, you won't be scared once you've done it. I've only got 3 more questions left. I've been asked, is all in better than Cam's option, like recovery way? And in my opinion, yeah. But in others' opinion, it may be better for them to do the Cam's way. But I think that if I didn't do my reverse dieting way of recovery before going all in, I probably would have preferred Cam's, because I was absolutely no way ready 4 months ago when I started like eating more food to gain weight. I wasn't ready to gain weight. Mentally, I wasn't ready. So Cam's, it depends what stage in your journey you're at. But for me, going Cam's way, the end result's the same, except from if I went the way Cam's wanted me to do it, it would have elongated the process so much. I would have still been restricting. I'd be on a meal plan and I'd still be thinking about the foods I wanted, and I wouldn't be able to have that. And I didn't want that. I wanted to just go all in and listen to every single craving my body wanted and eat all them foods and not think, oh no, it's not on my meal plan, so I can't have that. I just wanted to get it over and done with, and I'm so glad I did, because if I had a meal plan, I would still be restricting and the end result would be the same. So why not just get it over and done with and do it the way that you want to do it and feel most comfortable doing it, and it's less mentally draining for you to do, like, you know? I'm gonna lie down a bit because my back really hurts. Somebody said, has my mental hunger gone down? And I would say yes, it has, and I'm going to explain why I think that. Before I went all in, the one thing I would crave the most was Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Like, I would literally want it all the time. Like, my brain would want it so bad. So for the first like month of going all in, I ate a tub every day, literally just because I wanted it. And then eventually now, I have not eaten Ben & Jerry's ice cream for the past like month now. I have not eaten it in that long, which is so crazy. Not because I think, oh, I've eaten it so much that I just shouldn't have it, I'm not going to allow myself to have it. Because I don't want it, I don't fancy it anymore. The thought of it actually makes me feel a bit sick. Like, I just don't want Ben & Jerry's ice cream anymore. And I used to always want fish and chips from the chippy. Now that makes me feel grim. Yeah, I'll fancy it sometimes, but like, I used to want it all the time. Now I really don't want it all the time. I want it occasionally. Same with McDonald's, same with Chinese, same with Five Guys, like fast food and stuff. I'd want it all the time, all the time. Now I'm like, no. Like, don't get me wrong, I love fast food, like, of course I do. I still eat it all the time, but I don't want it all the time. I want it occasionally, and when I have it on the occasional time, it's because I want it, but I really enjoy it then. Do you know what I mean? I don't want it 24/7 anymore though. Also, I think that's evident because, a pre-warning, I'm going to mention calories now. When I first went all in, purely just for this video, like purposes of this video, I randomly, at the end of the day, just thought about how many calories I'd eaten in that day just to mention in this video. I was probably averaging around like 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day for the first like 3 weeks, and then it kind of went down to like 6,000 to 7,000 for the next like 2 weeks, and now I'd say I'm eating around 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day. Yeah, is more than an average person, and I'm still going to keep gaining weight, but hopefully eventually my body will just find the amount that it is happy with, and it's at a normal, like, you know, level that everybody should eat, like, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I am eating like almost half the calories that I would be eating at the beginning of all in, and that's not me counting every single calorie I have every day. It's just like on average at the end of a day, like I just randomly counted one day in like a month because I felt like it for this video, so you guys can see that it is going down, and I'm not just going to keep eating thousands and thousands and thousands of calories a day for the rest of my life. Like, and it's the same with you. Your body isn't going to have to keep eating this huge amount of food all the time, because eventually it won't need it as much, which is like what's happening to my body now. I'm eating like half the amount because it doesn't need it as much as what it did when I first went all in. And that's not because I'm restricting, it's because I just don't feel like eating it. Like, I just don't really want it anymore. Also, something I would recommend doing before going all in is that if your family doesn't know too much about what's going on or what all in is or anything like that, I would highly recommend explaining everything to them. What all in is, why you're doing it, how it works, the science behind it, that there's no length on it, the difference in recovery, like the mental, physical changes, like, and explain the things that can be triggering for you, things that they can mention that you'd find triggering, or if they judge you for how much you're eating, or make you feel like you can't have something, or label foods in different ways as good and bad, or anything like that. Anything that's triggering for you, make sure they know, because But the last thing they're going to want to do is to make this harder for you. They're going to want to give you as little struggles as possible through your recovery. So make sure they know everything so that they can do as much as possible for you. That's something that I did. My friends and family is actually asked them to research it a bit and watch some YouTube videos. If you want to watch somebody called Hat Did Beat This, I think she's called. She did a really good video where she showed what she ate in a day all in, and you could see like her mental hunger talking and her eating disorder talking and then her talking, and it's kind of like you can see what's kind of going on in your mind, and that might help somebody that lives with you see slightly into your brain a little bit. So obviously they're not going to completely understand, but maybe they can get a slight insight through that video, or like through some YouTube videos that explain it a bit better about what you're going through so they can understand it. And the final question is, what are some mental changes that I have noticed through all in? So the first thing would be having interest in everything that I would not have interest in for the past like year and a half or however long, or like 2 years, whatever. Seeing friends, messaging friends, talking to friends, do my makeup. I would not want to do my makeup, it would be a chore to do my makeup. Walking, I love walking. I go on hours walks every day if I can. Like, I love going on walks, and before, walking would have been my worst nightmare. I love going outside and I love going on walks. I love laughing. I love making TikToks. I used to not really like making TikToks. Like, to be honest, I just don't really recognise myself anymore. I am a completely different person. Like, mentally, so different. Yes, physically I look a bit different because I've got a bit more weight on me, but mentally I don't recognise myself. I'm completely different, and it's scary, but it's a good thing. Like, that's what's meant to happen. You're meant to change, you're meant to have a different mentality, and my mental health is so much better. I know this is a bit like, might be a bit too much information for this, but I'm just going to mention it briefly, that while a few months ago I was on tablets for anxiety, like 2 different types, and they weren't really helping, but now I'm on a different tablet, and that and the combination of recovering, eating all this food is making my mental health so much better. Like, so much better. And I think that was the main thing for me, that I didn't just want to think, well, am I only going to get my period back from recovering? I wanted to know that my mental health and my mentality on life and everything was going to change. Like, my outlook on everything was going to change, and I can promise you that it has. And if that's something that you're like, well, what's the point in just gaining my period and gaining weight if I'm still just going to hate life? What's the point in recovering then? Well, that's not going to be the case. You will see everything from a different perspective when your mental health gets better, because you're eating more food. I can promise you that now. So keep that in mind. Your mental health will get better and life will be good in the hood. So yeah. God, my back. God. Ooh. Also, I just want to mention that I wouldn't try on your old clothes and your old bras and anything like that, because it can be quite upsetting. I don't fit in my old bras, I don't fit in any of my old clothes, so I'd suggest not doing that. When you put on weight, it's not a very nice feeling. Maybe throw it all out. Oh god. Anyway, that is all I've got time for. No, what do you mean it's all I've got time for? No, it's not. That is all the questions I'm going to be answering today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this was helpful, and I hope this can kickstart your recovery journey, proper recovery, and you can get your life back and feel 100 million times better. And my DMs are always open, so you can always message me. I hope you're okay. Stay strong. You've got this, girl or boy or anybody. I love you, and have an amazing day, week, whatever. Love you.